Hello, class. It's me, your instructor, Kenneth Salisbury. Today we are going to be doing the assignment you all have been looking forward to so much. I'm real excited to show this to you. We've been talking about and discussing Chinese pottery, and part of our lesson plan for this is we're going to be doing a little bit of our own pottery so we can understand and appreciate all the efforts that go into Chinese pottery. And in all cultures, not just in our class, there is an evolution of how things are made, designed, and created. And the same goes through with pottery. So to better appreciate the pottery we've seen and the Ming, Tang, and Song dynasties, we're going to be doing our own push pots today. So for push pots, real simple lesson plan. We're going to be using drying clay today. This is a clay that you don't have to put in an oven. You don't have to put in a kiln and fire it. It's after we're done with our designs, we're going to let them sit and they're going to air dry, and that's it. They'll harden over time. These aren't anything that we're going to be able to use with food or anything like that because it's an air drying and it's not solidified with the kiln to where we can use it to eat, but we'll still have a nice piece of pottery at the end and a nice product. So this air drying clay, this is WD clay. It's Walt Edward Disney clay. This is the same clay that Walt Disney used when he was doing his creations so long ago. So if it works for Walt, it works for us, right? So we're going to be using that clay. If you see a little blue in there, that's a sponge to help keep it wet. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a segment of our clay and we're going to knead it down. We're going to knead it like bread and get it into a nice ball like you see what I have here. And that leads us to step one of what we're going to do for our push pot. So we're going to take our ball and set it down and try and get in the very center of that sphere. And we're just going to take the pad of our thumb, get in the center, and push straight down. We want to push straight down, but not too far. If you go through to the bottom, that's okay. It just means we need to knead out the dough and ball it up again and start over. But you want to try and leave about a ½ inch, 3/8 of an inch down there at the bottom of your piece. And then we're slowly going to start pushing our push pot. We're going to use our thumbs and we're going to move in a spherical shape, around in a circular shape, to try and get an even consistency throughout. So as you can see, the walls here are pretty thick. I can feel from the inside to the bottom that I'm not pushing through. It's not gonna go all the way through the bottom. And we're gonna keep doing that. We're slowly gonna work our way out. We don't wanna do too much too fast because you'll start to get cracks and things like that. So we're going to keep pushing, and what you're really going for in all steps, but especially in our basic design, is symmetry on your walls and even thickness in all walls. So that's step one. That's going to take a while, and we're going to keep working with that. So moving on to step two. In this step, you can see this is our next step. We've worked out that clay and we've worked on the walls. And they're getting thinner. We don't want to get them too thin. Again, if you push through the sides, we're going to have to ball it up and start over, which is okay because we're having fun here. We're creating. It's your first time doing this, maybe, so it's okay if you make any mistakes. And you're slowly going to work that out and keep working that out. And be creative with your design. This is a very simple bowl shape. You can get as elaborate with this as you want, but we're going to keep on working that and keep applying pressure and try and get that even fluid consistency, which brings us to our third step. As you can see, this might be a little bit hard to see in the video, but we've spent a lot more time, and now we've started to use tools. You don't have to spend a lot of money. This is a wood clay sculpting tool, and they're cheap. I forgot to mention the clay itself is only about $15-20 if you want to get something like this, so you have plenty to use. These are just a couple bucks. You don't have to get clay sculpting sponges. You can use any sponge. These are just a little bit more porous, so they work well. And after you get that real good symmetrical shape that you want, you start using your tools and your sculpting tool and to smooth everything out. And you can spend quite a bit of time on this. But when you want to do this step is after you've let your clay sit a little bit. So, and when I say a little bit, maybe a couple hours, so it has more of that leathery feel. It will make it so the clay is not so pliable, and you can start to smooth it out as opposed to the clay bending on you and stuff. So this step is after we've done the first two steps and we've let it dry some. And then again, you're going to move in circular patterns and just try and get that good consistency all the way around. And if you look closely, this is a lot smoother than our first two steps have been because we've spent so much time going over it. And then you can, if you want to get those real fine, you want to get out those fingerprints or those edges from the sides of your tool as you're smoothing it out. You can dip your sponge in water and then just slowly start to go around. And this is going to take out all those real fine lines. And you're going to keep working around until you're happy with your project. And you're going to spend as much time doing that until you think you have a good end result. So thank you for paying attention. Ask me if you have any questions, and just more than anything, try and have fun with your push butts. Thanks.